Hello and welcome. We are talking about the future of manufacturing. What role does aerospace have and can play in ensuring that India builds skills and capabilities and capacity in manufacturing? Well, joining me to do that is Gopinath Jayaraj, President of Global Delivery at TATA Technologies. Gopinath, thank you very much for speaking with us. So my larger question before I come to the specific thing is, aerospace is something very, it's very small, it's defined, there are very few companies in the world who are playing in it, and presumably there are very few people with the right skills to deliver the solutions for this industry. What role can India play, and can it play a significant role in an area like this?
Absolutely. I think India is already playing a significant role in the engineering aspects of aerospace industry. While, as you said, aerospace industry has a lesser number of OEMs, the two large ones are Airbus and Boeing, of course. It has a very large tier 1 and a tier 2 ecosystem, and these are very large companies by their own rights. So from an opportunity perspective, it's a very high-tech product and has a lot of engineering in it. It has a lot of opportunity and scope for outsourcing parts and pieces of engineering, as well as obviously manufacturing in two countries like India. I think that we have done quite well in even before the large programs which are coming out with offsets and things like that. As a country, we have done quite well to pick up pieces of engineering work and also pieces of manufacturing work inside of as a country, as in India.
So tell me, when it comes to manufacturing as a whole, and we obviously want to as a country invest in it and use that as a source of creating employment, expanding the economy and so on, can high technology industries like aerospace fill the gap, or will they always remain niche?
In comparison to other industries, yes, they will be remaining niche, but it does not. Still, the scope is significant. I don't have the numbers with me, but from the fact that a lot of our organizations inside of India, for example, the TATA Group, I work for TATA Technologies, and the TATA Group also has made a big foray into aerospace, working in tandem with several joint venture companies with American companies as well as European companies. So they've started manufacturing. They're working on things like helicopters, obviously things like the structures, aerostructures, and that's something that can be manufactured in a distributed manner. In addition to that, there's a lot of tag-on engineering services that we are able to provide. That's where we play in as TATA Technologies.
Right. So give us a couple of examples where you feel India has a relative competitive edge, and maybe you've managed to do something there.
Sure. I'll speak more on the engineering side, which is where our depth of experience is in. The various aspects of engineering, for instance, that most of the aerospace industry follows the like other product manufacturing products, they follow a cycle, a life cycle of when the product is planned, when it's going to come to market, and then like a car typically has about 3 to 4 years of design to manufacture to market. An aeroplane is somewhere between 7 to 11 years. So it's a much longer cycle. But having said that, once the plan is in place, it usually is fairly predictable. So because of that, you have a good view as to when the engineering components are going to, when the components are going to be designed, when they're going to be engineered, manufactured, and then made ready for production. In connection to that, we are able to, as organizations like ourselves, we work with tier 1s as well as the OEMs to figure out which parts of the engineering work that are there for these components and sub-assemblies can be outsourced effectively, and we can work on it.
Give us one or two illustrations.
So, for example, we work extensively in aerostructures. So we work in areas like interiors of the aircraft. We work in areas like seat design. We work in areas like galley design, where you put the food and the stuff that gets served inside the aircraft gets stored. We get work.
So I'll remember that the next time I fly.
Absolutely, yes. It's an interesting thing, and something as simple as galley. Because of the nature of aerospace industry, it requires a huge amount of engineering accuracy, and there's a lot of certification that gets attached to it. So what would normally take an engineering a component which would take an X amount of time to design for another industry takes more time for aerospace because of all the requirements of certification. So these are all the things that we interiors, galleys, seats. We are also working on things like designing floor beams of the aircraft. These are structural components that you can't see when you're in a plane, but these are the things that hold the aircraft together. So and these are all engineering design that
over time these have all been increasing as business coming into India.
Absolutely. As the time has progressed, we started out doing simple 2D to 3D conversions like we have done in many other industry. industries, and then now we have graduated to actually designing components, parts. We have graduated even to do CFD, which is computational fluid dynamics for airflow. We have done some quite advanced stuff in terms of in the areas of fuel tank balancing. There are very unique challenges in an aircraft. There is actually there's an interesting concept in a plane. When it's flying, it has to stay stable. So there are tanks, if your fuel tanks on either side of the plane, they're constantly being weighed, and the fuel, as it being consumed, the fuel is pumped between the two tanks to make the plane stable. This requires a huge amount of engineering, and those are some of the areas that we've been involved in with some of our customers.
Right. So tell me, what are the kind of people that you're looking for from a skills point of view? And I'm assuming that we don't have the pipeline of skills that we want, in at least in numbers. But if people were to be looking at this as a industry, what are the skills that they should be bringing to the table?
Like all other industries, all services industries, this also has a pyramid. So the bottom of the pyramid, which is more of the entry level skills, are generic CAD, our generic analysis, meshing, those kind of things we are able to cross train even with people from other industries who have experience. With certain amount of domain experience, they are able to come up to the speed for aerospace. At the mid level and higher level, it does require a significant amount of domain experience, and that requires us to work closely inside of an OEM. The only source that we have in India is HAL. So many of the people in the industry are essentially ex-HAL or ex-ISRO, and they have been a huge contributor to the workforce inside of India. And we also have a large amount of people who have worked in tier 1s and OEMs both in North America and Europe, who have either returned or continue to work in organizations like ourselves in the OEMs themselves. So that domain is extremely crucial, and I think that is even more it's important for all engineering business, but in aerospace I think it's extremely crucial.
So as you're saying, it's growing in it's growing in number, that is more and more different types of orders are coming. It's also growing in complexity.
Yes.
As you go from galley to structure to balancing of fuel across wings and so on. Therefore the future, I would imagine, looks bright.
Yes, there's a opportunity which keeps on growing, and as we grow up the value chain, obviously there are less number of places that they can outsource to, and hence we become a more valuable destination. But the difference, I would say, is that the scale is comparatively lesser than other industries. Having said that, it also takes time to build up the skills. So that is the dynamic of the industry.
Right. So but the trajectory is positive.
Absolutely, it's positive, and it's something that we should continue to focus on as a country.
Last question. So what's the most exciting product or service that you've delivered to your clients in recent times?
Recent times, one of the things I just mentioned, I think the fuel tank balancing for an aircraft.
What aircraft was this?
I can't mention that, but it's a commercial aircraft, and it was a very challenging project, and it really brought in the skills of engineering, fluid flow dynamics, as well as the aerospace domain, and we were able to deliver that successfully. So that was one of the exciting projects that we have done. We have also been involved with the design of an entire jet for a European customer. So that's been another interesting assignment. So the assignments are getting complex, and we are very bullish about the sector.
Right, Gopinath, thank you and congratulations on the wing balancing
project.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.